Hello, Thomas. Good morning.
Um, Looks
Yes,
like I'm starting to hear you a bit.
yes. Sorry.
Yeah.
If you could keep the camera stable, I'm sure then we can have a conversation. Is it better
Okay.
now?
Yeah. Yeah, it's better now.
Great. Where exactly are you?
Yeah, Johnny. So I'm currently at the Critical Teaching Hospital having my dialysis session, like you can see in the shot.
Right. And
Yeah.
yesterday you
Yeah.
mentioned to me that if you have to do your dialysis, you leave home by 3:30 or sometimes around 4 a.m. just so you could make the time. Was that the time you left home today?
Exactly. Johnny, I got here before 3:30. I got to the hospital around 3:15 thereabout.
And when you got there were people already there at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital.
Yeah. Uh, Today I was lucky. I became the first person, but just when I entered, and just about four people also rushed in. And when they came, their relatives were, in that hurry to also make sure they come early enough for their patients they came with to have their patient. So it's like you need to be fast about it just to, you know, get the opportunity to go on the machine early.
How long are you going to be in that chair and in that position?
Johnny, it's for 4 hours. It's for 4 hours. And like I mentioned the other time, the machines are just a few. So if you don't come early, for instance, those waiting outside, they're all waiting for those of us inside to finish. Then they can also come in. So once we are doing 4 hours, you have to sit there for 4 hours. So they can also come in and have their 4 hours. So you can imagine calculating the number of hours they have to spend here at the hospital today. And
And
mind you, before
mm,
before the 4 hours, I had sat there close to almost 3 hours just to wait for 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 the technician and the staff here to start with. So already I'm spending 7 hours.
how many of you are currently undergoing this procedure at this time?
At the moment, I can only say that we have five people undergoing dialysis at the moment
And
because
that's
it's only five machines that are functional. And
how
Johnny,
how many
it's so
machines?
sad.
How many machines does the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital originally have?
It's supposed to be about 13, but the
Mm.
rest have broken down and just five that that is functional for use. And even out of the five, there is one that is not functioning properly. So somebody has to, sit by that machine and then be pressing just for it to work. Otherwise, it won't work properly. So that's how come I describe it as we have just 4.5 uh, machines here. Yeah.
Today, how much are you going to spend there because you went for dialysis session?
Yes, Johnny. So today, it's 380. That is for the dialysis session. And again, I'm supposed to take erythropoietin injection, but unfortunately, today I'm cash strapped, so I'm thinking I'm not going to have it. And it goes with the treatment, and that is the problem that a lot of us go through or face.
I see. Can you know
There
what
are other medications
you know what I
that
want?
go
You know what
with
I want to
the
do right now.
dialysis.
I want to pick your number that you
But
shared.
because of that, most of us just try. Sorry, come again. I didn't hear that.
So you know what I want to do now because you are cash strapped today, and I want our listeners to be able to send you some money so that you're able to afford the medication because we need you and all the hard work that you do for Mother Ghana from the central region. So if you could quickly put out that Momo number out, we will get the listeners and then on our own as well. Yes, so please put it out. And then if there's an overflow, I'm sure that
0246.
right, 0246
Yes. 701
701
240.
701 240. So 0246
Yes.
701
701
240. Right. And the name on the account is
Thomas Vincent Khan.
Thomas Vincent Khan. All right.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. So, and I'm sure that when you're a very honest man, I know because I work with you. I know that when you also support other, patients in that regard.
Yeah.
So the rest of the money when it comes in, I trust that you, as you have been doing all the time, will also let an overflow touch the other patients. I'm very grateful.
Sure. So Johnny, that is why yesterday, after the minister spoke or went to Parliament to speak, we tried to thank him that the 4 million has been paid.
So the network is
again, it doesn't
right.
end there.
Go ahead.
On the consumables used for dialysis now. Hello, Johnny.
Yes. So you are talking about the minister and some of the statements he made in Parliament, the consumables and the taxes on the consumables. Go ahead.
Exactly. If there's no tax waivers, we will still go to square one because, like I mentioned yesterday, Kolebu is asking for Parliament to approve some kind of increment in cost of dialysis. And if just to make sure that Kolebu runs, and that is the only way they feel that if they don't increase the dialysis fee at Kolebu, they can't operate. So if they are going to go back to the 380, it means that they are still going to be at square one. I don't know if you understand the mathematics I'm talking about. Now, you say that the patient should pay 380 cedi. And that also is a problem for the Kolebu teaching hospital. So it means that even if at 380, if they will continue to pay after some weeks or months, Kolebu will still go back and shut down. And that is why we're asking government to waive off the taxes so that Kolebu can keep on, providing services for persons living with kidney disease.
The minister yesterday also mentioned that there are some 45 dialysis machines that are yet to be delivered and that they were going to work towards delivering that. Questions have come up as to the trust issues surrounding that assurance because there's already $81 million that we have spent for COVID vaccines that we have not gotten. So people are asking that questions. How does your association feel about that announcement by the minister about the coming of the 45 dialysis machines?
Well, I think that, again, that is also good news that they are adding on to the existing machines that we have. But again, Johnny, that is not enough. It is not enough. When it comes to the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, which is serving all the people from Central Region and even some parts of Western Region coming here for dialysis, it's still not enough. So it's 45. How are they going to distribute it? How many of the machines is Kolebu getting? How many other regions also get it? So it is good that, but again, it's still not enough. But again, when you talk about trust issues, sometimes the politicians in this country, I think that we need to, we kind of blame them for some of the things because of certain things that they have done or certain, actions that they have taken. We can only give them a thumbs up and then pray that they do more than what they have said. 45, bringing in 45 machines, that is good news. But again, have we thought about how those 45 machines are going to be distributed? across the nation, or is it just for Kolebu? Apart from that, Johnny, bringing in the machine is not just enough. What is the plan to even maintain or replace the machines? Like I mentioned yesterday, every machine or gadget has a lifespan.
Right.
As a country, do we have a policy plan of maintaining or replacing those machines? It's just that we buy the machine, we just dump them at our facilities, and that's it. We think that, you go to this facility, they have 2 machines, 3 machines, and we don't have a plan of replacing or maintaining them. So that should also be part of the conversation. That I think that the ministry or whoever is in charge should also think about.
I'm sure that your association has been doing some work on how much a dialysis machine costs, and maybe wondering also why we are unable to purchase a lot more of them. Do you have that information at the tip of your fingers?
Well, I know a one dialysis machine is costing, thousands of dollars. Johnny, it will interest you. This very machine that I am on now was donated by a patient here. Unfortunately, she passed. She came from the US.
Mm-hmm.
That's where she lived. And then she was coming for dialysis. And then anytime she comes, she has to wait for long hours. So she and her family felt that in America, that's not how it. They give you the options. Either you have to come to the hospital, or they have to come and do it for you at home. You have that liberty to do it. But over here, it's not the same. So they bought this machine and donated it to the hospital, so that anytime she wants to come for dialysis, she just walks in straight, and she has that protocol. So just come straight to have the machine and use. And I'm sure would have been left with just 3 or 4 machines here for use. So that tells you that the unnecessary spending that we do as a nation, there are some of the monies that we can channel into some of these purchases of machines. We hear of purchases of vehicles for some politicians. Sometimes let's sacrifice this and then look at the health sector. And Johnny, like I mentioned, you go to South Africa, Kenya, and Tanzania, their health insurance system, absorbs dialysis. I don't think this is on Ghana. We can do it. We can do it.
I hear you can. Thank you.
We'll take this. Yeah.
Thank you. We'll get back to you on this particular one. We'll get back to you, Thomas Khan. We're grateful. And that's my colleague Thomas Khan there at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, currently undergoing dialysis at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital in the Central Region. And the conversation we had, that he's trying to raise funds for the whole group. Right, the whole group, and I want to entreat you to let's do the power of 3 thing right now. Whatever you have, whatever you can support with, whatever you can push them with, and I know Thomas so well. He's been doing this from his pocket, so for him to say today that it's quite a tough one. We need to support, and I know that when there's an overflow, in fact, there should be an overflow, the others will have it. The number to send your kind donation to, do not hesitate, please. 0246 710 240. 0246 701 240. 0246 701 240. The name on this is Thomas Vincent Khan. 0246 701 240. They are presently at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital undergoing dialysis. They need the money ASAP to be able to live like you and I. 0246 701 240. 0246 701 240. And for all those who believe in God, the good book and all the other religious books tell us that we should not be weary in doing good. This is another opportunity here this morning for you. Just like you've been supporting the victims of the Akunsobo Dam spillage with your kind and cash, this morning is a concern about cash. 0246 701 240. There are 5 people on the dialysis machines now, Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, that are looking to you for help. And I'm told there are many more that are outside also looking for help. 0246 701 240. The name on the account is Thomas Vincent Can. Can spelled Cann. Thomas Vincent Can. 0246 701 240. Get back to you on that one in a bit. But let's further the conversation on this one. And we took to Dr. Titus Bayo. He's a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana Medical School. He's an epidemiologist. He's joining us on the phone line. Doc, thank you very much indeed for your time. Good morning.
Good morning, Johnny, and good morning to the listeners.
Great. Doc, I'm sure you've been listening to the harrowing stories of persons who are living with kidney failure. Since we broke the story here on Sunrise, other media houses have joined the fray. But for you as a medical practitioner, what does that say to you of our system?
It's very disheartening and very sad. And it speaks to how the state treats its citizens or values the life of its citizens. Because I think the social contract we have with the state is that the state will do for us what we cannot do for ourselves. And so when you are at your lowest low and expecting the state to come in for you, and the state cannot come in for you, I think it's very, very sad. And these patients that we are hearing their voices, they are among the fortunate few, because for every one patient undergoing dialysis this morning, Johnny, I can tell you 9 others have not even dared to start.
Oh.
And for them, it is a death sentence. Once the diagnosis is made, you will see families say, okay, that is it. Unfortunately, your life ends here. And I think that's the very sad state that we find ourselves in. And other countries have proven that this can be done. They can keep their citizens alive and keep them economically viable. In Abidjan, dialysis is costing $2. Why is it so this way in Ghana? And it's because of state intervention.
I see. Now, question I want to ask is, you've also been hearing our Minister for Health, and it had to take some of us to pay personally for people to go through the system to fact check the minister, the CEO of Kolibu, and expose him that in fact they had moved from 380 cedis to 745.42 cedis when he said that nobody had been charged that. And within that period, when the renal dialysis unit was closed, our information is that 19 patients died because they couldn't afford dialysis elsewhere. Again, between monetization and the duty of care that hospitals and the state should have, do you think the minister has discharged himself very well in that domain?
Well, I'm not going to pass a verdict on the minister per se, but I would say that the entire system has not handled this issue well. And I'm happy that you people brought it to light and all the discussions that has gone on. But I am sad at the current state that we find ourselves. Like we have always done in most situations, when an issue arises, we quickly do something not to solve the problem, but to keep the people quiet. And so it's like just managing the people. So what it is that, okay, now the minister announced yesterday, the government has paid 4 million debt in Kolebu. And they are looking at various alternatives. Now Kolebu has reopened. So everybody should keep quiet and let's move on. But the sad spectacle is that if this is allowed to stay, I am telling you on authority that within a short time, we will get back to a worse state than we were before. Johnny, the elephant in the room is that dialysis comes at a cost.
That's right.
Whether Kolebu is forced to reduce it or not. Today, if Kolebu is dialyzing at 380, for every single patient Kolebu dialysis today, they accumulate a debt of another 380. So we have paid off 4 million. But at the end of the month, Kolebu would have accumulated another debt of 960,000 plus Ghana cedis. Give us 4 months, 5 months, and we are back to this state. Now, it will get to a point where we will not be able to, the system cannot offer this dialysis again. And when I say we'll be worse off because at present, Kolebu was doing dialysis for inpatients with the support of philanthropists, or even doing it for free for some acute situations for maternal patients, maternity
first
patients.
car, you mean, right?
Yes, first car, yes. Now, if we get back to that worst state, we may get to a state where even people who have the money cannot get the service because if the consumables are not there and the system is completely shut down, where will we be? So I see what has happened in Parliament yesterday and the statement and everything as a firefighting approach. A concrete solution is that the state must make a decision that it wants to be there for its citizens at their lowest point in life, where they cannot help themselves. Because nobody on government payroll, on private payroll in Ghana here, except you are in a very high class, can sustain this dialysis. Reason is, the minute you are diagnosed and you have to be on it 3 times a week, your work output is going to drop. Your finances, your inflows will drop. You can start with zero because of your current income. But when your income streams drop, you will not sustain it and you will leave the dialysis and you will die. So the state must come in. So the decision must be made that we want to take this up. And that decision should not be an administrative fiat or I have directed that the NHIA should take it up. Directions in vacuum or directions like a political statement will only take us to a worse state. So I am expecting a more concrete solution. I also believe the NHIA is the best authority to manage this because they have the expertise and the experience and all that you can think of in managing healthcare financing. But you cannot, as a government, tell the NHIA to take it up when you have capped the NHIA funding. They started initially with 25%. It's part of the earmark funds that have been capped. So every money going that we are all contributing towards NHIS, they cannot pay them all that money because it's capped at 25. Now they started reduced to 17.5%. So if you are stifling this body and go and look at the expenditure lines of NHIS, from everything health, postgraduate Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons, the Ministry of Health, all sorts of finance are on the NHIS. So how are we positioning the NHIS to handle this? If we just issue that directive, you can mark my word, because the NHIS answers to the president, they will say, yes, we've taken it up. But what is going to happen is that you will get there with your NHIS card and need a dialysis and it won't be available. And it's happening with a lot of other services.
That's right.
You go to government hospital, basic lab. They've taken it out of the NHIS.
In fact, Doc, I had to take people through two of the tests at Kolebu, RBS or so, and one other I've forgotten. And it's supposed to be on the NHIS list. I had to pay money for it. That also, I had to show the Kolebu CEO that, boss, you said this is on NHIS, but I paid money for it.
Exactly. So this is what happens when we keep padding and padding the NHIS. And anytime there's a public uproar, we just push the thing to NHIS. Childhood cancers, we push it. Cancers in women's health, we push it. Anything cancer, just push it. And because of the current setup of the NHIS, from board to the CEO, most of the people there are appointed from the presidency. If you appoint, the person appointed to instruct you, it's difficult to say no without making necessary provisions for it. So if you will ask me, I would say that yes, if Ghana wants to be there for its citizens, the government should, as a matter of urgency, if possible, have a bipartisan stakeholder meeting, involve other stakeholders, involve people across the political divide, people with the technical know-how, the financial engineering know-how, and let's sit down and see what can we do. How can we make the NHI sufficient to take care of this?
I see.
It shouldn't be we know it all, because it has never helped this country. We should depoliticize it and find a permanent solution. This can happen to anybody. The other reason why we need to look at this very carefully is that the situation from the point of view of an epidemiologist, our disease burden of non-communicable disease, and for that matter, kidney failure, differs from the rest of the world. Globally, the prevalence of CKD is about 10%. In Ghana, estimates are putting between 13 to 17%. Why? Globally, the leading cause of chronic kidney failure is diabetes. In Ghana, it's hypertension. Why? Now, our emphasis on non-communicable disease in this country is very little. We have authority for HIV, the commission. We have something for malaria control. We have something for biliary ulcer control. We have various things for infectious diseases. They have served us well because at that time, our disease burden was mainly these infectious diseases. Now, the burden of non-communicable disease is very high, and I am advocating that government needs to set up a body, an authority akin to like the AIDS Commission for the control of non-communicable diseases. Because with 20 to 50-year-olds getting chronic kidney failure and going on dialysis, end-stage kidney failure and going on dialysis, they are going to be on it for long. If we don't tackle the root cause and look at prevention, look at reducing the burden, no matter the financing model, we'll get to a point where the country cannot sustain it. So we have to look at that aspect. How do we prevent it? Then we look at how to reduce the burden. And then for those who get on it, the state must make that decision to stand up for its citizens.
See,
when we do this, I think we'll go far.
If I hear you clearly, you say the state has disappointed the citizens. Is that correct?
Of course. But if you pay for insurance, anything you do, you are paying. NHI level is on everything. And you expect something from the state, and you don't get it. Is that not a failure on the part of the state as far as you are concerned when you are at that stage of your life? For these people who are pleading and begging, Johnny, all those 19 people that you are saying have died, if we find a solution today, can we bring them back?
Not at all.
Do we know what they could have contributed to this country? You have a reporter who is part of this patient, who is contributing to the development of this country, bringing news to people, bringing information to these people. So if he's unable to sustain this and dies, and he's a young man, you know how many productive years was cut off. So why can't the state be there for its people? That's what I'm saying. It's a decision. The countries that have made that decision to stand up for their citizens, they are not more prosperous than us. So it's a matter of us deciding and not doing lip service and not saying, let's just get the people quiet. Because when it is get the people quiet, those policies, you can do it quickly and everybody will go quiet, but the problem is not solved. And you know that there are several policies like that in this country. And if you want me to mention, I can mention a few. When we set up DOPSU Act, we said we're going to create a fund for victims of rape, domestic abuse, to access that for healthcare.
Right.
Where is the fund? Somebody passed a policy. Anytime you are involved in an accident, first 24 hours, it should be free. Ask if the hospitals are being reimbursed for it. So when you go there with an accident now, will you pay or you won't pay?
You will pay.
Do a check and tell me how many people have been rushed into a hospital, taken care of, and when they are about to go, they tell them that, it's first 24 hours is free.
Doc, you know
free,
that.
Who pays for it?
Doc, you know that I've also taken people through the emergency center at Kolebu. And it's supposed, once you enter, NHIS is supposed to step in for you. That one too, I have paid monies.
So it just tells you what happens. So let's not make the NHIA or NHIS like something that once we are hot or there's pressure on us, we just push it there. Then we clap hands. But on the ground, we are having issues. No, we should be more purposive. We should be more intentional, because this condition can meet anyone. And if it hits you today, friends, you are dependent on the benevolence of friends and family. I was listening to your appeal. It's very helpful.
Yes, sir.
How often can we do that? How sustainable is it?
Dr. Titus Bayu, I thank you very much indeed for your input this morning. He's a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana Medical School. We're grateful for your time. Thank you so much. Thomas, quickly wrapping up, Doc has said a lot this morning. In closing, what do you say? First of all, confirm for me, are people sending in coins to support the dialysis agenda for this morning? Thomas, can you hear me? I'm not sure Thomas can hear me.
Johnny, yes, I can hear you.
Great. Quickly.
Yeah, Johnny, I can hear you.
Yes. So I was asking, Doc has said a lot this morning. In closing, what do you say?
Yes. I think, Johnny, yes, I just saw one Layla. I can see Layla sent 50 cities.
Wow.
I'm trying to get a name.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
just Layla. Just Layla is fine. Right.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I think when I go off, I'll just try and do a list
and then we'll compile the names and then we'll put it out there. Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you, Layla.
Yeah,
God bless you, Layla.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you very much. But I think that Johnny, the person you just spoke to has really summed up some of the concerns that we need to have discussed as a country. I think that we've not taken a lot of things so serious as a country, and it's just unfortunate that sometimes people even play politics when it comes to such sensitive matters. That we think that we need to go above all those politics of MPP, NDC, and then get to the root cause. Because Johnny, like I told you, after paying this 4 million, if nothing is done about it, we will still go back to square one. It is good the 4 million has been paid for Kolebu to run, but we are afraid of the sustainability. How long Kolebu can run the dialysis? And then mind you, there are other centers charging higher. So it means that if Kolebu is going to charge 380, it means that all those who are going to other centers that are charging higher, they will all rush to Kolebu just to give the place some kind of pressure. So it is something that as a country, we need an immediate solution to see what should be done about it.
Thank you, Thomas Khan. He is a reporter here at Media Journal. He is also the chief servant at Yes We Can Foundation, where they help persons with kidney diseases and those on dialysis Presently, he's undergoing dialysis at the Cape Coast Technical Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, and 5 of them are presently on. We want to make a passionate appeal before we take a quick break and go into some political matters. 0246 701 240 0246 701 240 0246 701 240, and we'll compile the list and acknowledge all of you and ask for God's blessings for you, because we know that Layla has taken the lead and sent something. I'm sure others have also sent their widow's mite. 0246 701 240. Please contribute your widow's mite to make sure that we do not lose the lives that are living this day with us because they have complications, and as is obvious, the state has failed to support. We are all involved in keeping ourselves together. Let's be our brother's keeper. See you shortly after this break.
A gem-free toilet seat anytime, anywhere. Let me introduce to you Elegance Toilet